kuna akili wako ndani ama nje.
UDA is weak. William Samoei Ruto, I'm calling it kunguni ya ODM.
ODM is not going on the right.
ODM ni a threat to someone.
Yes. Most governors in Luo are very corrupt. Yet they used to be part of ODM.
Always on the real mwananchi. Tamsikiza, atakuelimisha na atakwambia kila kitu ako nazo. Tuko na panelist hapa. They have something to tell you about the leadership which is taking place in this country. Let's talk with the leadership which is taking place in around the ODM. There's a challenges happening in ODM. I got my friend. Let them introduce themselves. We are going to start with my right-hand side. Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Francis Munderu from Nakuru County. I am the chair Kenya Youth Association and also the chair Kabila la Vijana Rift Valley and Nakuru County. And we are here in this evening to discuss matters of our country.
Yes.
Oh, good evening to everyone. My name is Calvin Sayaga. I represent Bunge Besto. I'm the Secretary General of Bunge la Mwananchi, National Headquarters here in Nairobi.
On my left-hand side.
My names are Benedict Otieno Dhiamboguto Nyango, aka Jacom 002. I'm a Kenyan citizen by birth and a Luo by profession.
Okay, I'm your host. Bring you the live letters here. Why there's a wrangle in ODM? This is my leader.
Oh, I believe the wrangles in ODM, it is because they are, there is what we say, people are drunk because of power. When Raila was alive, he wasn't letting them get that much close. He was limiting. It's like he has brake. He was the driver there. So if the bus gets so close to fan, ama tuseme ni kama he was a DJ, anaweka wimbo akiona medance sana, he reduces the volume. And now because there is no one to reduce the volume, each and every person wants to be the DJ. And the person who's at the DJ, he should not be there. And he wants to put the music to the highest level. Because I believe in ODM, some people have self-benefits. That's what they want. And in ODM, people need leadership. They don't need those benefits. Because even if you are given maybe 3 million, you cannot give all members of ODM like my friend here. Maybe he can receive only 50 shillings as per the numbers of ODM. So I believe people, they are more so, they want to benefit themselves and they don't want to get out of power to leave it maybe for the youth, or they are not sure if the youth will do the things the way they want. So that's my give, and I believe ODM is not going on the right way.
Okay, Mr. Calvin.
Okay, first of all, number one thing that people need to understand, for political party to prosper beyond the co-founders, it must have a philosophy. There's one question I always ask each and every single individual in Kenya. Is there any party with a philosophy? Or they're just movements by individuals? When you go to Tanzania, you will always fight CCM. CCM is based on a philosophy called Ujamaa. That's why for CCM, even after Nyerere, it is still prospering. When you go to South Africa, the same thing happens. They bonded based on an ideology that they wanted to do away with what is called apartheid. And that brought them together, and their philosophy is South African blacks. So it is very difficult for ANC to do away with ANC in South Africa. But the reason why ODM is having a lot of problems is because ODM was Raila and Raila was ODM. I know most of the people don't understand that. People want to allude that ODM is a party of the people. No. When you look at how they even conducted their nominations, there was a problem. That is why we don't have a party for the people in Kenya. It is quite unfortunate that most of us always follow ODM. But do we really understand what a party is? ODM has never been a party. It has always been a vehicle for individuals. And that is why ever since ODM began, there is no one other than Raila alone who has ever been a presidential candidate in ODM. Yet ODM began in 2005 after fighting for the constitution of Kenya for the reforms. Have you ever asked yourself that? Number two, majority of people who are in ODM used to be in ODM because they feared the power of Raila, most of the Luos. They knew the wrath of Raila. If you don't support him, you cannot prosper politically. And the stronghold of ODM is in Nyanza region and Nairobi, in the entire nation. Even though it seems like they have some roots in other parts of the nation, which makes them a better political party than the other. But that still doesn't make them a.
But we've seen that in costs only ODM was in numbers. There is no any party can talk about. We can talk about in a coastal area. It's only ODM because the leadership, in coast is only ODM. Can you say that ODM was not having that good relationship in a coast?
It was not that much. It was a negotiation for ODM to prosper. And one thing that people have never understood with politics is, in Kenya, when you look at the history of Kenya, you'll always find that there were some communities that were marginalized.
Yeah.
Raila, when beginning ODM, he realized the government itself has always been marginalizing these communities till to date. And he tried to bring them together so that they can form something. And that's why they felt like they're part of ODM. But that cannot sustain a party. For a party to be sustained, it must have a philosophy. I'm asking again, what is the philosophy of ODM? Right now, when you look at the wrangles, there's no one who wants to swallow pride. Because for a party who has a philosophy, people will always swallow their pride for the philosophy, not for an individual. In ODM, people used to swallow their pride for Raila, not the philosophy of ODM. And that's why after Raila's death, there has to be wrangles. There has to be, because they don't have a single philosophy. The only thing that has made ODM powerful is because anywhere around the world, the opposition, those who are always fighting the government, are always loved by the people. The funny thing is, most political parties in Africa are always hypocritical. They tend to fight for the people, yet that is not their main analogy. And that is why they serve only their personal interest. We've never had a party that has always formed based on the problems of the people. None, not even ODM. And if you want to know the reason why ODM is suffering today, ask yourself, people never followed ODM, people followed Raila. That's why ODM must have problems. When you go to Tanzania, people follow CCM. They don't vote any other person. When you go to South Africa, people don't follow individuals. People don't follow individuals elected in South Africa, in NC. People follow the NC party, courtesy of Nelson Mandela. And that is why killing ANC and CCM in Tanzania and South Africa respectively is too difficult. But when it comes to ODM, people used to follow Raila Amolo Odinga. And I will tell you the reason why they used to follow Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yeah.
Ever since 2010, the Luos fought for what is called devolution, devolved government. Do you know up to date, most governors in Luoland are very corrupt, yet they used to be part of ODM. That is why I'm asking, what is the philosophy? If philosophy of ODM was fighting corruption, have they managed it within even the political party? Because within our constitution, it is very clear that even a political party has the mandate and a power to recall a member of parliament within the party, to recall a governor within the party, so that they can go for an election whenever there's a problem when it comes to corruption and mismanagement of political office.
Okay, hold it from there. Let my Jacom take it on.
Number one, talking about the ODM. ODM is one of the longest political party in Kenya. Number two, parties are like vehicles za kutupeleka katika uongozi. I've heard my brother talking about ODM, that ODM tuelewane na tukubaliane. ODM ilituletea kitu inaitwa devolution na Raila Amolo Odinga wakati tulikuwa tunaenda kupigia katiba mpya kura.
Yes.
Lakini tuelewaneni ya kwamba ODM ni a threat to someone.
Yes.
Kunguni yenye inakula ODM mdogo mdogo, tusidanganyane. Tuite vitu vile vinafaa viitwe, ni William Samoei Ruto. Wakati Raila is the problem of ODM.
How?
Okay, let me ask you. I was in the village during the holiday period. I was shocked that Ruto is telling people of ODM, you bring your resources together, I bring my resources together, we form a government which called broad-based government. Sawa? So that means let ODM waende wapangane kwa nyumba yao, sisi pia tupangane kwa nyumba yetu, alafu tutengeneze serikali. Niko na swali. If you go to Nyanza region, UDA wanatengeneza ofisini katika eneo strongholds za ODM. My brother, let me remind you one thing. ODM has 3 pillars that created ODM.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one pillar is called the coastal region. The second pillar is called the Luya nation. The third pillar is called the Luo nation. And I want us to be realistic. If we talk about nini, if I heard you saying that ODM ilikuwa chama ni kama ya Wajaluo, I want to remind you one thing. Last election, Luo nation ilipatia ODM 60%. Luo nation as a whole.
Yes.
And this was Raila Amolo Odinga. Coastal region give us almost 70-80%. Western region, though this time walipatia Ruto kidogo, but we got a good percentage. Now, William Ruto knows very well, we are going to form a government come 2027. The broad-based government and the UDA government. UDA ilikuwa na stronghold in central region. So he has, because the parties are the vehicles we are using to clinch power, so he has to make sure he has a strong vehicle. So number one, the stronghold of UDA was on Central. Central have pulled out of UDA. So UDA remains the weaker party that cannot take William Ruto to power. So what can I do? And there is something that people talks about, and I wonder how. Look at the circumstances that ODM joined UDA to form the broad-based government. It was because of young people of this country. They were fighting for unemployment. They were fighting for the cost of living. They were fighting for injustices that are happening in the government of William Samoei Ruto. When these people come together, they form what we call 10-point agenda. Now, let's go back to the ODM party. As per now, the legend has died. As much as the legend had died, the king called Raila Amolo Odinga alituachia one weapon called constitution. We really appreciate for that. No matter what, nobody can take out the constitution. William Samoei Ruto, I'm calling it kunguni ya ODM sababu anauma ODM. ODM wakienda kuongea wanapulizwa, wanasahau. Sababu ni ya kwamba, if you look at the body language of coastal region right now, William Ruto is using Joho to pull out of ODM. And wanasema palipo na moshi kuna moto. If you see the body language of Joho and this one, I forgot his name. This woman from coastal region, Aisha Jumwa, wanaongea lugha moja ya kwamba party ya coastal region lazima wapewe chairman wa ODM, la sivyo they are pulling out. Is a threat. Number two, look at the western region. Oparanya is being used by William Samoei Ruto to pull out the coastal card out of ODM, so that the ODM will remain a Luo party.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Why do you see these people are being used with the government to split the ODM party?
Because
Yes,
Ruto,
where they have been doing a signatories.
you know, when something is happening, first of all, the suspect is the beneficiary. The beneficiary of falling of ODM is William Samoei Ruto.
But can I ask you one question?
Wait a minute. You will answer me. Why am I saying so? Ask yourself a question. Right now, I'm a live member of ODM. Wanga jana aliniamusha roho, aliamusha juogi yangu. Wakati alisema, if we are going for negotiation talk with UDA, we are negotiating not less than 50%. I was happy and my heart was booming. Poor. Unfortunately, the old man, the chairman of ODM, anaitwa nani? This guy, what is his name? I even forgot.
That's a youth leader.
Youth leader, what is his name? Oburu Odinga. Oburu Odinga anasimama and anasema ya kwamba ODM will not have the presidential candidate, ODM will not have the deputy presidential candidate, and yet tunasema turudi kwa maandamano. What if something unfortunately, mtu nilikuwa najua hata kufa ni Raila na alikufa. So what if in a scenario that ODM joins government with Ruto and they form government? After forming the government wamepata ministers and whatsoever, and then Ruto achukue running mate Kindiki, alafu Ruto akofe, ni nani anakuwa president? Kindiki. Si mtarudi kwa barabara mwanzo kutuambia ati nini ati
Hold it there. Take it back. He has said that there's something he's talking about, that there's a splitting on him, and he's talking that there's a negotiation the broad base is doing. Do you think this broad base is going to work?
To work for Kenyans or for ODM?
For Kenyans or both?
Okay, is it going to work to clinch power on 2027 or not? Oh, for the broad base, it will be hard because he already said that UDA, it doesn't have support from the Mount Kenya region. So the weak UDA is trying to find the strong ODM so that they can join forces. Then the strong ODM, in their house, they have fights, a lot of fights. This one wants 50-50, then the other one says, there is no need of 50-50. As long as we are there. So it might be hard for them because if ODM might not finish this whole year together. It might not. Because maybe Winnie gonna go with the majority numbers. If you take Winnie, Babu Owino, and Senator Sifuna, they'll go with the majority number. I know he will follow them. Then Wanga and the youth leader, they might be left with a very few number. Maybe 70% of ODM will leave because they were following Raila. And now they will follow the youth because they see the youth, it's like they have a plan. Because you cannot follow someone who the other person is saying 50-50, the other one is saying no need of 50-50. So you will follow the more, you better follow the minority organized than the majority is organized. So people might follow Kinawini. Then ODM might be weak as well. So we'll have two coalitions, two very weak coalitions. UDA, the weakest UDA, and the weakest ODM. Then you see these other parties of who is this? Mudavadi. Those parties are going down. You see, it's like.
But we don't have any nowadays because it was, although the court reinstated it back. They merged with the UDA, but the court reinstated back.
The way it was reinstated and they are still in the government, it's like powering on a candle and then you put it on rain and you expect it to spread light in the whole of the area. It cannot, definitely. So ODM, what I'm saying, ODM and UDA might not be easy for them. It might not be easy for them to take power because UDA is very weak as per now. What they have is money, offices, merchandise. It's like they are requesting so many clothes from Chinese. The ones that can fit all Kenyans, only for merchandise. Then they are building so many offices. Some fundis are benefiting. So that is the only thing they have. They have funds, but they don't have people. They don't have strategies. They are just speaking. Now ODM had people. It didn't have like that much funding, but it had more people. And now the way they are starting to take side, the youth leader says we are going this way. Wanga says we wanted this. Then Joho on the other side says if you don't give us this, we will go. So you have to give them. They want you to give them what you have. You are the chair. They want them to be the chair or they leave. What do you do? So you see, the Luo nation cannot accept the cost to lead ODM. Do you think they can accept that? No. They can, definitely. They cannot agree on that. So ODM might split in a maybe in so many sessions. Winnie, Joho, Kina Oparanya, like so many people will have different views and then they cannot be able to take power unless they think otherwise.
Do you think Joe and Oparanya is being used to divide ODM?
Yeah, they can be used because definitely in Kenya, what happens is like the way we have Kabila la Vijana currently, that youth movement. Because we are many, we are so many. If we say we want this, we will be given. Now Joho, it's like he's holding the coast region and he's telling the coast region, leaders pretend that like citizens are foolish. So he's telling them, I'm the one speaking on your behalf, Pale ODM. So if they don't give us this, so he can be used. I'm not saying he's being used, but he can. Probably the higher probability that he's being used because he has numbers so that he can hinder that progress of ODM. The progress of ODM and the ODM continue being together. So he can do that. And also the other people from Western, they can also be used very easy, in a very easy way.
Me, first of all, I want to begin by questioning what this gentleman was saying, my fellow panelists. Then I come to my fellow brother on the left, on the right side. There's what is called an ideal situation in reality. I don't think if anywhere in the world, people with victim mentality has ever won anything. Let us not put blame on William Ruto. If ODM were to have strong structures, I don't think if William Ruto can interfere with ODM. It is a matter of selfishness. That is what is destroying ODM. Everybody wants to be in power. Everybody wants to replace Raila Amolo Odinga. That tells you something. So let us not come here and try to argue that William Ruto is actually dividing ODM. ODM is dividing itself because of selfishness. And that's why I began by saying that ODM doesn't...
There's some tumbocrats in the ODM.
Exactly. There's a lot of tumbocrats in ODM. That's why they don't even want the young people close to them. Because they know very well they cannot satisfy the needs of the young people. That's why up to date, no, there's no young man there. Who?
What about Kasmuel and the youth leader?
Kasmuel is not there. Okay, let me answer that. Let me answer that. If you're talking about Kasmuel, how many meetings has always Kasmuel been in when they have serious talks? Because I've never seen any nation in this world which has ever been liberated by the old alone. And again, I've never seen a nation that has ever been liberated by the young people alone. When the old men are always on table discussing with William Ruto, do you always see Kasmuel there?
No.
He's only being used to make a lot of noises in the streets.
But
when it comes to real talks, he's not included. So you cannot tell me that there is who is a young man who always sits down on the talks. No one.
Winnie
Odinga has always been neglected. That's why she's complaining everywhere in the media.
So we can say ODM is for the oldest for now.
As we are speaking today, I'll repeat it again. The biggest problem we have in ODM is selfishness. Everybody wants to replace Raila Amolo Odinga, and they cannot have that kind of voice. There is only one thing that most people don't understand about Raila, that somehow I loved about him. That there is something Raila stood for that made people love Raila personally with their hearts. And none of them in ODM has ever stood for anything. That's why they cannot replace Raila. At one point, Raila stood firm and fought for multipartyism in this nation. Something that gave people hope. At one point, Raila was on the forefront fighting for this democracy we are talking about today. None of them were there. The guy was jailed. Remember, even back in 1982, when dictatorship was at the core of its bed, Raila was linked with the Ochuka coup. And that's why he ran away to Uganda. So at least Raila was fighting for something. Those guys cannot replace Raila. They must think that even the young people of today think differently. If they want to help ODM to they have to restructure how they think in ODM. They cannot think the way Raila used to think because Raila had something that they don't have. Tell me one guy there who can even stand and confront William Ruto despite working with him. Raila dares do that even if he's working with you. He has the gut to do that. Oburu Odinga cannot do that because he's going to be thrown away. After all, there is no votes Oburu Odinga can bring to William Ruto.
What about Babu Owino?
Babu Owino, the reason why people are fighting Babu Owino, and this, I want to say this to even the Luos. It is quite unfortunate that our politics up to date is too tribal sometimes. The Luos have what is called a prodigal son, a single son. If you dare kill Babu Owino, this goes to any Luos. If you people kill Babu Owino politically, there's no man who has the guts of Babu Owino to stand even today to fight for to stand firm and fight for what is right, like Raila used to do. These people who are talking, once they are satisfied, there's nothing that they can do. You can look at what did Inyoro did in Kiaru. Do you think Samuel Atandi can dare do that? At the budget committee, do you think he can dare do that? He cannot. But in as much as people want to stand here and speak about, Babu Owino has 6 schools, a lot of things are happening in government, that's why. Let me ask you something. If today somebody is embroidered and is supporting government, but Babu Owino is still being ranked ahead of him, have you ever asked yourself that question? Why? And he's opposing the government. Let us be sincere with each other here. Why do you think even those who are working with the government, who are the right hand even to call William Ruto and tell them that in my constituency, I have a project and I want to complete it. So Atandi can do that and I need some funds. He can actually, they always come up with supplementary budgets in parliament here. Every now and then.
So there are tumbocrats.
They are tumbocrats in simple terms. Let's give respect where it's due. The only place I can somehow disagree with Babu Owino is only one thing. That he needs to be smart enough to understand that not everything that you have to do with tolerance. sometimes you have to put some brain
Exactly.
into it. I will come and tell this gentleman here another thing. That there is something that is happening within the Western region. If the Western people are not careful, I told you while I was beginning that there is what is called ideal situation, which people think can work, and the reality. The reality on the ground is, for you to get power in the entire world, you must be resourceful. You must have resources. And the first resource you have is unity. That means if today the Western region and the marginalized communities in this land gets divided, the power will go back to the central people. Why? Because they have the resources. And that is why for the longest time Kalonzo was being bullied even in ODM. Because at one point he was being asked, how much do you have? And I want to remind Kenyans one thing. It was not Kibaki in 2002 that was supposed to be president. There is one scenario that people don't always talk about it. It was Kijana Wamalwa who was the favorite to be the president in 2002. Do you know why Kijana Wamalwa never became president? Because he was bankrupt. But Kibaki had money. So the only thing is, do you have money for campaign? No, I don't have. Can you source a job? No. When they ask Kibaki, do you have it? Yes, I have 2 billion cash in my account. Can you source it? Yes, I have friends who can do that. That is what Raila used to tell Kalonzo. Yes, I can give you this power. Do you have money to campaign? No, I don't have. Then you have to support me.
Okay, hold
And
it from there.
you took my point. You see, now first before I talk, I answer you or I add
Yes,
to
yes.
your point. Number one, it's so shameful.
Yeah.
I'm a Kenyan citizen by birth.
Yeah.
A 70-year-old man calling himself a Gen Z.
A Gen Z.
Oburu Semonu, you are an old man.
80 years, not even
We
70.
cannot live in a country. Mtu mzee mtoto wake ako 50 years anajiita youth leader wa kina nani? If I ask you anything about AI haujui. Unajua simu tu ni kufinya 1 2 3 and then you are calling yourself a young person. It is a shame to you. Ideologically, I'm a young person of this country. Number one, I'm talking about overtaxation. Does Oburu understand what we call overtaxation, Yawa? We talk about unemployment. Does Oburu understand what is unemployment? He does not understand because miaka yake haimruhusu. Na wanasema hivi vizuri, palipo na wazee hapaharibiki. Ask yourself one question. They are senior of ODM, the founders of ODM. Number one, it's called Jim Orengo, one of the people who fought for multi-parties in this country. Why is it saying one term? There is a best friend of Raila Amolo Odinga called Anyang' Nyong'o. In fact, when Raila was heading to AU, he preferred leaving ODM with Anyang' Nyong'o because he trusted Anyang' Nyong'o with ODM.
Why did he leave for him?
Because he trusted Anyang' Nyong'o and Anyang' Nyong'o knows the value of ODM. Akawachia wakati Raila alikufa. These people wahari wachague nani, waweke akue nani, waweke akue leader wa ODM. Number one, ODM is a party yenye ilikretiwa na Raila. I agree. Most of the people na wafuasi wengi wa Raila walikuwa hapo juu ya Raila.
Yes.
Lakini tuelewane, Raila alicreate ODM party yenye wewe fanya yako. Ukipata, you need ODM to survive.
Yes.
Now ODM remains a begging party. Should we work together? It's a shame on you, and yet you are calling yourself a youth leader. Last but not least, let's call a spade a spade. I heard my fellow panelists saying that UDA is weak. Yes, I agree. UDA is weak. And Ruto is trying to build a UDA, strong UDA. That is why he knows the best way kuweka UDA ikuwe strong ni through Nyanza region. That is why ana make sure Nyanza, ujiulize maswali. There is a place called Homa Bay County. The deputy governor of Homa Bay County
He's opposing the government.
is in UDA. Magwanga is vying by a UDA. And now you want ODM strong. This is the plan of William Samoei Ruto. He knows ODM is a strong party na iko na wafuasi wengi. So what he's trying to do, number one, to cripple ODM. So that by the time they are going for negotiation, hawana nguvu. Because when Oburu is telling me that we are not looking for the position of deputy president, so you are looking for the position of Ministry of Sports, Ministry of gender and Ministry of ministries zenye tutapata katika what at some days back, some months back, there is this guy called Charengei. He's Charangai ama Charengei. This guy who just talk because he needs to talk. Alisema kitu. By the time we are dealing with ODM, we will only give you the position on, we can negotiate on positions of chiefs. That is what he said. And that thing is becoming to be true. Because, tell me, sahi, ODM ikianguka, wameenda kwa table, which position wata negotiate for?
They will negotiate as
they will negotiate on nini, hizi positions zingine. Now there is narrative yenye William Ruto is selling. And he's trying to divide, you know, first of all, when we talk about politics, what is politics? Politics is a psychological game.
Yeah.
You tell me what I need to hear, I tell you what you need to hear. Yeah. And William Ruto knows that game very well. That's why when you go to central people, he is telling them, people of Luo land are wapumbavu. When we come to Nyanza region, he's telling us, people of central are wakabila. Now, when we don't want the position of vice president, automatically it will go for central region. And then after some weeks, Ruto akikufa because Baba dies. So Ruto is not immortal, anaweza kufa. Then who is be the president? And then mutaanza kutupigia hapa nduru. We, Ruto wanta.
As we winding up the story,
Yes.
how do you think this leadership is going to take place? This broad blessing.
I will begin by saying this. Number one, our politics has been turned to be a pocket politics. And when you look at the level of corruption in Kenya, it's so high. And people need to wake up as a nation. For a fact, people need to wake up. Sometimes it saddens me. You know, when you talk about reality, people think that you're supporting the wrong thing. But I'm just trying to reason up with the environment we are in. Chances are so high that William Ruto can win. Because number one, when you look at the one who is spearheading the opposition, who is now calling himself Gachagua, Rigathi Gachagua, seems to be working with William Ruto. Is actually working against the people. In this sense,
Why do you say Gachagua is working with the government?
I will actually prove to you the reason why I'm thinking that way. Everybody knows here very well that if you want to take the government down, the people must unite. Do you really think Gachagua is uniting Kenyans?
No.
No, he's not uniting Kenyans. He's actually dividing Kenyans more.
Yes.
When you look at his politics, ever since he was impeached, remember, it is only during the time of Gachagua when he was impeached that everybody went back to his backyard. And even some young people retrieved. And everybody now, and they switched places with Raila. Raila went to the government, Gachagua came out. And now he began doing what? Working against the people. Instead of uniting people more, what did he do? He began fighting for the central people alone. And leave alone even fighting for the central, which is not a bad thing. And by this, Africans must understand that we are people of same color, different, somehow same culture, but we come from different tribals. And that is one thing that it is so hard to change in the current era. So it is not a problem even when you go to the jungle, the lions will always tend to alienate towards their lions. Yeah. And that's why in most you will always the Kikuyus, they will also try to associate themselves with their own Luo. Why? Because we speak different languages. Though we are same people. That is where a white man beat us as well. A white man studied us and understood us very well. The only thing that can change this nation is to bring up people together, to form what Nyerere did in Tanzania. The philosophy of oneness, whereby it is not a mandate for a single individual to present the central people. Because it will not come a single day that the Luos will know the problems of the Kikuyus. It will not come a single day that the Kikuyus will know the problems of the Luos. Until a Kikuyu is on board, that is when, even if a Luo is leading, the Kikuyu will tell the Luo that our problem is this, we can solve it together. Until a Luo comes on board, until a Kalenjin comes on board, until a Masai comes on board, until a Mijikenda comes on board, that is when you will realize the problem of each and every single tribe in this nation.
But do you think Luos are going to unite together?
It is so difficult when you look at history. By the way, history tends to repeat itself. Dividing Luos is not a joke, the way some people think. The reason why I'm saying that is this. Look at ever since independence, dividing Luos has always been a task. Luos and Kikuyus and Kalenjins have always been playing simple politics. We first unite together, then we go and negotiate. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So it will be a very hard task for anybody to divide the Luos. They might look confused. Look at when Mzee Jaramogi died. What happened? People were somehow confused.
Yeah.
When Raila began coming into politics in 80s,
Those people are following Raila, those people are following Orengo, James Orengo.
exactly. After Raila fighting with Orengo, people just went back to Raila. It actually happened during Jaramogi's time. There were people who were very powerful by then more than Jaramogi. There were people who even introduced Jaramogi to politics. And people have to understand that as young people, we must understand our history to change this nation. So, it is not a big deal that the Luos are now in rumbles. Even the Kikuyu sometimes become, somehow are in rumbles. Because even right now, as we are thinking, look at what William Ruto is doing. Some people might think that William Ruto is only dividing the Luos. But I guarantee you there is something more he did in 1992 and 97. That's why he won. Until the people realize that they cannot beat Moi when they are divided. Do you know it is only Moi who divided Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West? And the Meru and the Aembu were supporting Moi. And the Gikuyu and the other side was supporting Matiba. Moi actually managed to divide them and they won in 92 and in 97. When they realized that they cannot beat Moi while divided because Moi had power and he had money, that's when they came up with a coalition.
Okay.
And that is exactly what William Ruto is doing now in 2027. When you look at Mount Kenya, it is not, in fact, Mount Kenya, the central people and the Luos are much how some are going to be divided in 2027, if you are not careful. Look at what happened in Beere when they were going for a by-election. Did you see what was happening? They forced it that the UDA candidate won. And when you look at the people from the Beere side, their Embu and their Meru, look at their voice. They are talking about the voice when Moi was there. That the Kikuyus from the other side.
The wrong way. You are taking the wrong way.
The Kikuyu, no, I'm talking about what is happening. Let us talk about the reality. Let us not think about ideal situations.
Let's speak facts.
The reason I'm saying that, I'm saying it. Look at the central people who are in government. Who are the majority? The Kikuyus from which side?
Leave alone side. Kikuyu doesn't have side. It is not William Ruto. It is not William Ruto who
No. Let us be sincere. Let us
it
be
is
sincere.
you.
No, it is not me.
So,
let me ask my gentleman a question.
yeah.
If you're a student of history, do you know what Moi did? You are saying that Kikuyus have never been divided. What did Moi do when these people were going into election in 1997? How many Kikuyus were in the ballot?
Let's speak about now.
Matiba was in the ballot. Kibaki was in the ballot.
Kibaki, yes.
And they were divided. And that's why Matiba died very angry with who? Kibaki.
Now,
Am I lying?
Kenyan politics is about divide and rule.
Exactly.
Because if you look at even the last
so it's the reality. I'm not
election-
saying it is happening, but when you look at the trajectory of what is happening, look at how the other guys are pulling.
Sure.
It could happen. That is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It could happen. So that's my take.
Let my brother give my view,
now-
and I'll be the last.
Now, in Kenyan politics, it's a matter of divide and rule.
Yeah.
Because I remember very well, in the last election, there is this pastor, a Kikuyu pastor who was vying. What was his name?
Mwaura.
Mwaura.
Yeah, the father to the journalist.
He's the father to the journalist?
Yes.
Oh, I never knew. Anyway, when Ruto was announced to be the winner, he celebrated even more, and I was like, and that's why William Ruto right now is pushing people like Owalo to divide Luo's vote.
Exactly.
William Ruto now is making sure that in Luo land they are not speaking one language. The Swahili says palipo wazee panaharibika, paharibiki. Lakini in our nation wazee ndio wanaharibu hii Kenya yetu kuliko anything. Sasa what we can tackle is how can we benefit either Kikuyu or a Luo, because the number one problem ya hii Kenya is tribalism. All these things, either Kikuyu, in Kenya we have more than 42 tribes. We have even people called Pokomo. We have even people called Rendile. We have even people, juzi hata ndio tuliwajua wanaitwa Watiriki.
Yeah, Watiriki, the Tiriki.
Hii wakati wa torch.
There are also people who came from Zimbabwe.
Exactly.
They're living in
you know,
Coast.
Kenyan problem is not about our leaders. I'm sorry to say this. We are the Kenya problem is as Kenyan people. Why am I saying so? Our leaders wait. Let's call us. They say if it walk like a duck, it speaks like a duck. Definitely it is a duck. It is a duck. When William Ruto was campaigning during last election, alikuwa na campaign 2022, right? Alikuwa na campaign to be the president. William Ruto was giving millions and millions of shillings in churches. Nobody questioned him. He was giving money just like that. Now akishapata inabidi atuibie ili survive. That is why unaangalia hata he's trying his best to sabotage the economy sector. Unaona hata minister wa education hajui hata fee ya play group ni pesa ngapi. If you ask the minister of education wa Kenya sahi, how much is the fee ya grade 10? Hajui. Sababu ako incompetent, haelewi chochote. William Ruto haja yake na kuweka select positions ni kuweka watu za kureward mabeshte zake kwa position. So hiyo kitu haitusaidii kama wananchi wa Kenya.
Sure.
So we should revisit our thinking as people of Kenya, because we are the one. Unajua this thing at who is the leader, who is the president, tutalia miaka nenda miaka rudi. We need to find a solution. We have to stop this story ya handout. The political over handout must end. I ask myself a question. Right now, William Ruto is campaigning in a pesa World Bank through Nyota Fund. He's giving people a campaign now. Sahi, William Ruto, ukienda like countries like Uganda, there is a petrol station called Starbucks, owned 90% by William Samoei Ruto. Hapa Kenya, if you buy fuel,
Are you sure what
yes, I'm 120% sure. I've lived in Uganda. I'm telling you what I know. Sawa. So let's call a spade a spade. Go to Uganda, ask even the people of Uganda. If you tell someone this is Jibanji, I live in Kenya, this is Jibanji, my friend. If a foreigner now come here and ask me where is here, nitamwambia hapa ni Jibanji, because I'm a Kenyan citizen na nimezaliwa hapa. If you go to Congo, wako na mahindi. Alipeleka mpaka wanajeshi wakati wengine Congo waende wakachunge mahindi. This is totally unacceptable. Omera, yes, I have facts. I have facts. And I can prove them. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not about nani amekuwa president. Mtu yeyote anaweza kuwa president. Hata mimi nishafika 35 years. I can be president of Kenya. But tuulize, shida ya Kenya haswa ni nini? Shida ya Kenya ni wananchi wa Kenya. Sahi tunaenda election. The only thing in my Luo community, ukisema I want to be governor of Siaya, they will ask you two questions. Do you have money? Can you kill? You see, those are the questions we ask our leaders.
Governor in Nyanza,
yes.
Region, you have to kill somebody.
You have to make sure mtu amepita vibaya mbele yako unapita na yeye. That is the ideology yenye tunauziwa on kind of leadership.
Killed many people.
I don't know. I can't approve to that. But those are the questions. These governors that are in government, I can assure you they spend billions of shillings to get to power. That I can assure you. So what I'm trying to tell my Kenyan voters, let's vote wisely. Let not vote because he's a Luo or he's a Kale. Sababu the main problem pia ya Kenya ni ukabila. You are corrupt person, but I will vote you because you are a Luo. So we need to change that narrative. Then to make a step. When I'm looking at you, I look at you as a person and what you can do. I don't look at you as mahali umetoka. Simply because you are a Luo na kuangalia kwa njia tofauti, na that tribalism ndiye imeshatuangusha katika Kenya hii.
Oh, hold it from there. Take it, my brother.
Okay, for me, what I can say about the leadership, the way it is going, it cannot help us. The best thing Kenyans could do, or Kenyans youth, you know, the youth, if they decide, and the other Kenyans, you know, somebody like Kachagua, he's taking votes of parents, so-called watu wa mulima. They are the parents, not the youth. If the youth unite and they decide to educate our parents, we can go far as Kenyans. Because tukichanuka tutaenda mbali. The reason why they picked Kasmuel, they saw Kasmuel was bright. Now, instead of Kasmuel going to brighten the ODM youth, he is getting, sorry to say so, more foolish. And now, like, if Kenyans youth can unite, we have a purpose of changing leadership. Kama wananchi, you know, bad leaders come from bad citizens.
Yeah.
The moment tunauliza mtu kama ako na pesa, nikikupea 200, wewe usitarajie maji, stima nini, hiyo ni hadithi. Kwa sababu so many people are borrowing from banks so that they can do campaigns, you know that. And then sasa unatarajia akiingia atalipa aje, then he takes the money and go and pay. So I will tell Kenyans, if it is choosing, let's choose good leadership, not about money and not about what. If you choose someone who has given to you 200, he is taking money yenye imewekwa ya orphans ya kuwalipia shule, anaenda kujitengenezea nyumba, kupeleka bibi yake outing. Gavana mwingine ananunua Christmas tree ya 3 million, 3 point something million. Gavana mwingine anachukua 10 million, ananunulia watu wa bodaboda juice. Unajua hiyo mchezo ni kwa sababu Wakenya ndo waliwaingiza hapo. Hakuna mambo ya kuiba kura. Hakuna mtu anaweza iba kura yenye hajapigiwa. Usipopigia huyu jamaa ataenda nyumbani, si ndio?
Yes.
Usipopigia huyu ataenda nyumbani. Na ukisema utaenda kupiga kura umechoka, wewe ni jinga. Kwa sababu nikisema sipigi huyu jamaa kwa sababu simtaki na sipigi kura, hiyo ni kumuingiza. So Kenyans, we should be serious, get brighter and brighter. And to my governor back in Nakuru, the work of a governor is to run projects, not to zuia people who are coming in and out. Oh, wewe usikuja county, usikuja huku. Kwani who are you? You are not even a peace ambassador. So you should let people who are visiting county, let them visit. Kila mtu aongee yake. Hakuna mtu akona title deed ya county fulani, si ndio?
Yeah.
So we should let people visit, wenye wanaongea waongee. Na niambie vijana, to our fellow youth, don't try to join either ODM, DCP or UDA. Let's come together first, then decide on what to do and what's the best for us. That's mine.
Okay, my parting shot is this. For the young people, you must understand one thing. It is good to aspire, but you know, there's a say that is always said that, and this is what Miles Monroe said. I really loved Miles so much because he's a good teacher. This is what he said, that sometimes in life, when you want to make a decision, most people think about what is called the choice they make. But you don't live with the choices you make. You live with what is called consequences.
Sure.
So before you make a choice, let us try and understand, can we live with the consequence of that choice? Number two, there's a game we are playing that we've never come to understand. Politics needs a lot of resources. It is either way Kenyans come up together, pull up together. This idea of fighting from different fronts while fighting for the same thing is actually about corruption as well.
Sure.
Because we cannot fight for the same thing, yet we are fighting from different fronts. If it truly means that we are fighting one thing, that is called justice, and we want a better Kenya, then we should come up together. That is the only way. Yeah, that is the only way we can realize who are the enemies. But if me as an individual comes up that I'm saying I'm fighting for justice, the other person from Central comes and say I'm fighting for justice. But when it comes to uniting us, now somebody thinks that is more powerful than the other. And that is why I always say here, that if people think that Gachagua and even Kalonzo Musyoka is a better replacement for William Ruto, you're being lied to. You are lying to yourself. Yeah. Because I can give you a little risk. Kalonzo has been in power for 40 years. Remember, there was a time Kenyans were fighting for freedom in Kenya. And I will tell you, this comes from one of the freedom fighters, the second liberation of this line. A man from Western region called Wafula Buke. When he was in the university, they were the people who were fighting for that justice. Do you know Gachagua is one of the people who was working with Moi? And he was working against the Kenyans who were fighting for that justice. Tell me, what has changed today that Gachagua wants to fight for the people?
Maybe at that time he was broke. Now he has money.
It's not possible. It's not, that's why I always tell people that we must understand how the system works. If we truly want to change Kenya, we need to understand and tend to see things. There's a difference between looking and seeing. Those are two different things. If we tend to look too much, we'll never see what is happening. And that's why if people from other sides still keeps on pushing somebody like Rigathi Gachagua, believe me not, we are going to divide it, and don't ever blame. I mean, I cannot blame somebody for supporting Gachagua. And as well, I cannot blame somebody
My brother here will
for
not
supporting
cut
Gachagua. let me ask you specifically.
Yes, I cannot support Gachagua.
The reason why this is going to happen is
Okay,
this.
number one.
Let me finish.
1 minute.
Let me finish.
Gachagua is an impeached. He can't even vie.
Let me
so
finish.
I wonder.
Not going to vie any position.
Let me see. You
why
don't
is
know.
it saying
You don't know. There's a case in court.
There is a case in court.
There's a case in
cannot
court.
say
You don't know
cannot
the
buy
chances.
it
You
by
don't know
now.
the chances.
but Gachagua is a
but he has
tribal
not-
man.
he's a-
Nobody
he
can
has not
vote
been
Gachagua.
Let me finish.
No,
This man is also tribal. He said like
Let me
if
finish
voting
my
laws-
case.
Let me tell you. Let me remind you.
That
He
doesn't
said
make me
if-
tribal.
if-
Let me finish my case.
Okay.
Let me finish my
Let
case.
him
I
finish.
gave everybody his time.
You will rebut.
By the way, let us be sincere with each other here. Me being a Luo and saying that I can fight for the Luo, that doesn't make me tribal. What makes me tribal is when I know something is right for the Kikuyus and I stop it from happening. That is what makes me tribal. I'm a Luo and you cannot change that. Some people are the Kikuyus and you cannot change that. Today, if there's a problem with the TT sector or Kafi sector, if a Kikuyu stands here and fights together, that is not tribalism. If the Luo here today stands up and says there's something wrong with the lake, that is not tribalism. It's not. Let us be sincere with each other. Tribalism and ethnic politics is when somebody knows very well that the Kikuyus deserve it, and they now stand that Kikuyus wameshinda wakitunyanyasa, or the Luos, or even the coastal people deserve this. And I always say this: it is quite
Finish,
unfortunate.
finish.
I'm finishing.
Finish.
It is quite unfortunate that we have a port where the ocean is in Mombasa, but now you want to come and tell us that you want to build an inner port, and the major source of income for the coast people is the ocean. Let us be sincere with each other.
Okay.
I cannot support such kind of things, but you cannot change the fact that I'm a Luo.
Now,
Let him speak. Let him speak. Let
Yeah.
him speak. You cannot
let's
finish.
finalize
You
that.
cannot
Let's
pass that.
finalize this.
Let's
Yeah,
finalize
sure.
that.
Tunaweza ongelelea hii mambo mpaka unajua sometimes
It is a big
tuache kudanganyana ndugu yangu.
Yes.
You are talking point. Number one, bana usiediti.
Yes.
There is this narrative yenye inauzika Luola
Yes.
that if you're not supporting William Samoei Ruto,
Yes.
you are supporting Gachagua.
Oh, no,
it
that's
is
a lie.
null and void.
That's a lie.
Now, no, that is the narrative that you guys are trying to sell out.
No, I'm not.
Number two, I've heard you talking about port. Let us be honest. Who is tribal between Ruto and Gachagua?
Both.
No, Ruto is worst tribal. You remember Ruto alitoa port nini? Alikuwa one, in fact, wakati Ruto aliingia hivi, William Ruto mwingine ndiye ako kwa port. True or false? There is another William Ruto he replaced
Yes,
with
yes,
port.
yes. Yeah, that's very true.
Sasa,
That's very
if
true.
you look at even appointments za serikali,
Yes.
let us be honest, we are not talking about the holy person here.
Let me ask you something.
Ngoja, wait a minute.
I'm
Wait
just here
a
from
minute.
Central in
Wait a
government.
minute. Wait a minute.
Yes.
If you look at even the minister
Yes.
in was central region in Ruto's government,
Yes.
hawana say in which angle, PA wake, secretary wake, cleaner wake, everyone from one community. Sawa. So tusidanganyane, Ruto is more tribal than anybody else. He is lying to us people of Luo unity that anatupenda. Hakuna mtu walipenda Ruto kama Kikuyu. Walimuimbia mpaka wimbo ya Kogakora tene
Why do you think they
na akawaruka. So don't feel you are holy hata waruka. This is the point. Tuchague leader mwenye ataangalia interest ya Mkenya bila kuangalia interest ya Mkale, interest ya Kikuyu, interest ya Jaluo. Because let's call a spade a spade. Hii Kenya ni yetu wote. We are not here by favor. Either you are a Kikuyu or a Luo, auko kwa favor ya mtu ama uko kwa license ya mtu kuishi katika Kenya hii. Tuelewane.
I just want to correct something here.
Correct me.
I just want to correct something here.
Eh,
There's something a black man has never understood.
eh.
There's nothing like a Kenyan problem.
And
I will tell you why.
Wait, there is.
But is
There
that
is.
right?
There is.
No,
Ngoja.
they say
Wait,
there's
wait,
no
wait.
Kenyan problem.
I will tell you why. I will
One
tell you
minute,
why.
1 minute.
I will tell you why.
Eh,
There is nothing.
Eh.
One thing that people must understand,
Eh.
and I will say this again.
Yes.
For black man to change whatever is happening in Africa, they
Yes.
must understand their history. Number one, there is no black man who came up with something called Kenya.
So,
Excuse
so
me.
when history ilikuwa
Excuse me.
babangu
Geographic
baba,
code, but Kenya is the
kitambo
people
watu
and
walikuwa
excuse me.
wagonjwa wanapelekwa kwa
Excuse
msituni,
me.
wanapewa dawa ya
Excuse
mitishamba.
me.
So saizi pia tupee watu wagonjwa dawa ya
No.
mitishamba.
Excuse me.
Bwana.
Excuse me. The reason why I always say that for us to change what is happening in Kenya, we must bring everybody together. It's because every single individual in this nation, all different people from different regions, I can tell you for a fact today, if you walk to Rift Valley in the northern part of Kenya and talk to them about their problems, it will never sound the same with the central people's problem.
And that's why
You've repeated that several. Now
Skiza,
this is the solution.
you have answered my point.
This is the
You
solution.
have answered my point.
Let him tackle
Skiza,
it.
you have
Before
answered
now.
my point.
Yeah.
You have answered my point. There is no problem ya Central Region, Rift Valley, North Kenya na watu wa Kisumu. Tuko na shida zetu. You cannot tell me hakuna shida ya Mkenya wakati Moses Kuria akiwa minister wa industrialization alichukua pesa waka import sukari, mchele na mafuta ya kupika wakasupply kwa ekonomi yetu, hawakulipa ushuru. Ilikuwa ina affect nani? Mimi na wewe. Wakati William Ruto alienda akaleta sukari Kenya, akauza Kenya hii, wakaenda wakaua mpaka Mumias manager wa Mumias, CEO wa Mumias, wakapack Mumias ya nje wakapaka hapa Kenya. Iliumiza nani? Mkenya mimi bwana. What are you telling me?
Let me cut it short. He has said the truth because the case when you go and bring rice from outside, people actually even now they are taking rice from outside. So people from where their rice is lying in the store.
Moses Kuria now alimake money mpaka karitaya. Sasa yeye anatuchekelea tu akikaa kwa sofa na mguu yenye imeharibika.
Okay, my brother. My brother is so hot, but the truth is the system is rotten. That's the truth. And now we have to change it. We cannot change it the way we are.
Your mic is not on.
Let's finalize.
It is not on.
It is on, just put it on.
Oh, let me even hold it. The problem is, we have a problem. The bigger problem is the people who are in the system. We now need to change the system. You Kenyans, when I come as an aspirant, I'm aspiring for MCAC. Don't ask me for money. If you ask me for money, I'll go work with the opponent and let you suffer because we don't have any other solution. If you choose my opponent over me, you want me to stay for the next 5 years without rent. The opponents ana akili, mimi ndio niko na akili. Akiniita nimsaidie kazi, sintena nimsaidie.
But to give us a good manifesto, what are you going to do to the people? Are you going to bring that you're going just go there with the electric for that?
What I'm going to do, I'm going to do what they are not doing. If I be the MCA today, I'll make sure the work of the governor, which is to build the roads. It is not the work of the MCA to build the roads. It is the work of the governor. I'll make sure it is done. If it is an MP who have been elected, make sure awibi pesa ya mayatima kwenda kufurahisha wasichana, kufanya nini, unapea mayatima pesa yao. Kama ni basari, peleka shule, hakikisha mtu yoyote mwenye hajalipa school fees amepata kidogo. So we as Gen Zs, we will do what they are not doing. But we know you parents, you are not ready to give us power. You need civic education and so many other things on top of that. So wacha tutulize kwa sahi, tutaendelea baadaye.
Sawa, malizia.
Mimi ndamalizia nikisema hivi. It is quite unfortunate that anytime we talk, we try to be delusional. The first step of changing this nation is mental revolution, not even changing the system. Forget about even changing the system. Me, I always tell people, I will never say anything to satisfy people. There's a difference between what is called ideal situations and reality. The hard reality is nobody as a Kenyan can stand here and tell us that William Ruto is the problem. We'll be lying to ourselves.
No.
The entire nation is a problem. Sure. That's why the first process of changing, not even Kenya alone, the entire African continent is mental revolution. That is the only place we can begin from.
Yeah. You are starting the
let me finalize in the shortest word possible.
Okay.
My brother is telling us that Ruto is not the problem. Ruto is the president of Kenya. Now, we have like 3 reports that I will name for you. NADCO report, Ndungu report, 10-point agenda. If you read those reports, Omera, if you implement those reports, kuna mtu atateta. We have 3 options to survive as Kenya. Option number 1, Ruto must go for us to change the education system. Option number 2, Ruto must go for us to better our lives. Option number 3, Ruto must go for us to have better education.
Okay, let me ask this man one question as we wind up. The one that Matiang'i said, we want you people to tell us. Just don't send stories.
Yeah.
Just tell us wenye wako na akili wako ndani ama nje. Wenye wako na akili wako wapi?
Wenye wako na akili wengi wao inabadilikanga.
How?
So ukiingia ndani akili
Mimi-
inadisappear. Wenye wako na akili wako wapi?
Mimi nitakuambia kitu moja. In life, mimi niliwaambia I don't want to massage egos here. I will not massage egos.
Wind up.
Because
Wind
the more we
up.
keep on massaging ego, we will never change anything.
Sure.
For somebody to win, he's not a fool. He has studied how you think, how you reason up, then you want to complain that the guy is wrong.
No, it's
That's
it's
why
not
they are
about that.
maneuvering.
So mwenye ako na
Ukiwa na
akili
pesa,
ako ndani
ukiwa
ama
na
nje?
pesa.
That's why ako ndani.
Hapana.
nje.
Opposition hawana.
Hawana.
Tunamaliza.
Problem we can-
Let us take it on next season that will take place that tomorrow and every day. We are live covering everything that you desire to tell us.
Yes.
Not the people, not anyone, but you mwananchi.
Yes.
We are here for you. Take it on. These my colleagues. Give him high five as they cut it short.
Thank you for the good one.
Didala.